There was a famous scientist that sent a submarine down and hit the bottom of the ocean and wasn't able to penetrate the bottom of the ocean, as if there was some type of water barrier firmament.
One of the strangest places on the ocean's floor was only just discovered in the 1990s. And 9 Degrees is one of a handful of people to ever see it in person. Without a doubt, one of the most amazing things that I have ever seen in the bottom of the ocean. It was while filming for Blue Planet. It was in the Gulf of Mexico. And I noticed there's something out in the distance. Couldn't tell exactly what, but it looked like a dark band. And as we approached it, the dark band became a donut. I saw this donut. It was black in the center. What the heck is that? And so as we get closer and closer to it, I noticed that the black band had what appeared to be kind of steam over it. And then I looked, and there was water lapping against the shoreline. This band was a ring of mussels. And inside the ring of mussels was a lake. And it's like, wait a minute, I'm already underwater. We went out over the water in this lake and tried to descend in it and bounced off. It was so super saline and dense that the submarine couldn't go down in it. We literally bounced off. And as we bounced off, we sent ripples heading back to the shoreline.
It's because of the firmament. It's firm.
What I believe is that this is a plane and everything vibrates, and ultimately we have to become masters of vibration to work through the dimensions of this plane. This is the third dimensional plane. So this physical, this is the physical plane. Now, if we close our eyes and we envision something, our brain doesn't know the difference between a thought and actual reality.
So they teach us about gravity when we're young kids, because when you're a young kid, you kind of believe everything that you hear. They tell us that gravity was discovered by a guy named Isaac Newton. And by the time he was 23, he had discovered gravity, invented calculus, and trigonometry. Well, I'm telling you right now, none of that happened.
Gravity's just a theory and an excuse, really. It's real simple. If there's a force strong enough to hold oceans to the planet, there's a force. We should all be stuck to the ground. You know, the force can hold buildings, skyscrapers, tanks, ships to it, but it can't hold a helium balloon. Helium balloon just flies away, smoke just flies. Everything should be stuck to the ground like a magnet. If there's a force holding oceans to it, it doesn't make any sense.
Once you look at gravity and you try to prove that it's real, you'll discover there's no proof of it, and that there is only proof of density, buoyancy, and electrostatics.
Electrostatics is a proven thing. We all know that a positive and a negative will attract towards each other. So the Earth has a neutral or negative charge. Everything above it has a positive charge, and it is attracted to it.
Everything that exists is electric. There's not one thing that exists in the entire world that is not electric. It's actually the unifying force that keeps everything here, holds everything together, and everything seeks equilibrium based on that. So everything's trying to find a state of rest based on its electric phenomena or its electric nature within the environment that we exist within. And then when you start to look further into it, you find out that on the smallest scale, electrostatics is significantly stronger than gravity is even claimed to be. Magnitudes greater, 10 to the 36 power to be specific. So everything, simply put, everything that exists is electric. Everything that is falling to the ground or not falling to the ground is seeking equilibrium based on electrostatics. We can actually test this. We can use something called a corona motor, and whenever we manipulate electrostatics, we can make things levitate. We can make things go up or down, and we can actually change how fast they go down. We can also manipulate the weight of an object simply by manipulating electrostatics. And of course, that's how science actually works, is you do an experiment that shows you what the cause of the effect is, and you can manipulate electrostatics and cause the effect of downward acceleration, commonly referred to as gravity. Of course, I've never seen a test that manipulates space-time, and you will never see that. It doesn't exist. Everyone thinks that the reason things fall is because of gravity, but actually everything that exists is electrostatic. So whenever things go to the ground, they're seeking equilibrium, so they go find their balance on the ground where their charge disperses or spreads out in through the ground. So we have positive charge in the air, we have negative charge on the surface of the earth or on the ground, which is why it's called grounding, and then we introduced positive charge and then it went back down to the ground to seek equilibrium. This shows that that's actually what objects do when they fall to the ground. They go to the ground because of the electric forces and they seek equilibrium on the earth.
We knew about it as in the 1950s, even earlier, and it's all been hidden because if humans were allowed free energy, free movement, and able to explore, we would find out what this place is. We'd find out our position in this world. And that's the number one thing. Why are they hiding flat Earth? Why? What's the motive? And the motive is to keep us dumbed down, not knowing who we are, not knowing where we are, not knowing the true power that we have, and not having true freedom.
So ultimately, the master plan in all of this is to fake an alien invasion.
I think one of the biggest upsets with globe believers when they hear flat Earth is we're taking away their Star Wars, we're taking away their aliens. We know aliens, extraterrestrials, have been documented since all recorded history.
I've actually personally seen UFOs multiple times from like the age 18 up, probably 7 different times I've seen UFOs. I know it's a very real phenomenon.
What about the secret space program? I call it the secret propulsion program. They're using electrostatics and other technology to maneuver around. Maybe they're even just pulling energy out of the air.
We can go back to, I think it was Reagan in his famous United Nations speech, talking about the world coming together, facing a universal threat.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
They knew back then that that's the best way, the most powerful way to get everyone to unite into a one world government.
If suddenly there was a threat to this world from some other species, from another planet, outside in the universe, we'd forget all the little local differences that we have between our countries, and we would find out once and for all that we really are all human beings here on this earth together. Well, I don't suppose we can wait for some alien race to come down and threaten us, but I think that between us we can bring about that realization.
We did secure some footage of the flying disc in the hangar. The code name for the project is Equipe, and it has been designed for humans to fly. We asked the scientist in charge of the project what propulsion system the craft uses, but he would not divulge what he called classified information.
As to how much of it is man-made or something that maybe you wouldn't understand, that's a great question, who knows? But I think that they've simply reverse engineered ancient technology and then hid it from the masses so that we don't know what it is. And you can look back at the Germans and they explain that we're using electrogravitic propulsion. And so with electrogravitic propulsion, you could attain perpetual flight, you could defy, quote unquote, defy physics, you could attain all kinds of changes in angular momentum on a dime.
Man-made technology that we don't understand yet. I don't know, maybe there's other humanoids or aliens, whatever you want to call them, like that way and that way, but up there, I don't believe it.
UFOs are real. You guys are just confused where they come from. They don't come from some far off planet trillions of light years away. They come from the outer lands and possibly under the ocean.
I personally believe that the government is so evil that they're devising any type of plan that they can to manipulate people into one world government. They call it the New World Order. One way that they can manipulate people is by destroying cities with missiles and lasers and all sorts of destructive bombs, and then they could blame it on aliens. They could say that aliens are coming when really it's our own government.
Now, man has reverse engineered that, so we do have them here now. We know our government has this technology.
If they fake an alien invasion, they get the New World Order, which they want. They thought COVID lockdowns were bad. We found out that they pretty much lied to us about everything to push an agenda of more total control. We're closer than we've ever been to World War III, all of this other stuff. And now the only way for them to truly, in my mind, get what they want or supersede the timeline, speed up the timeline, is to fake an alien invasion. The moment they do that, everybody panics. The government has to step in as a one world government. All governments come together to fight an outer worldly threat. And then we're all in lockdown like you wouldn't believe, because we got to be aware of the alien viruses. I mean, we're already scared of the human viruses. Now we got to be scared of the alien viruses, and we're fucked. So that's, I think, the end game. And it's pretty easy to see that that's what they're gearing up for. That's why they're telling us there's a mothership in our... No, shut the fuck up. Like, we've had this technology for years.
They've taken our focus and put it up there and not to the outer lands or the extraterrestrial areas.
When someone says extraterrestrial, what does that mean? It means extra terrain. So it's a lot more prevalent that the world is bigger than we know, in my opinion, than these beings are traveling millions of miles or light years away to come here. I believe they won't let us go past Antarctica. So if they won't let us go past Antarctica, my favorite show in the world is Attack on Titan. I believe they're telling us things through shows, that being one of them, that there is potential for other land outside of what we know. If there's more land out there, then why are we paying $1,500 a month to live? Or California, people are paying $3,000 to $4,000 a month in rent to live. Why would we have to do that if all of our world could fit into Texas and then there was more land other places? Like, obviously it makes more sense.
You can still have that concept, that idea, that belief, whatever you want to call it. You can still have that on flat Earth. You're not trapped in a snow globe.
I honestly do believe that the government is hiding more land.
There could be thousands of continents. There's definitely more than 7. I'll bet my life on it.
Relax. This is only a visual concept, although this is scientifically possible.
They have advanced aircraft that can do incredible things and move incredible speeds, but it's for here. It's for exploring this world, not scientifically impossible outer space.
Little green men running around, abducting people, that's the Hollywood mainstream narrative. There are underground caverns, there are underground cities, deep underground military bases, DUMBs, there's all kinds of networks under the ground.
Think about all the underground bases. Think about the millions and millions and billions of dollars that go into black budget projects and that is a whole nother industry. NASA, nobody knows what NASA does.
Regardless if it's a government hoax to instill fear and control and take away our rights, if it's Project Bluebeam, just know that these crafts are not coming from outer space in the magical vacuum of floating balls. They're coming from outer space, not upper space. They're coming from outer space. The extraterrestrials are coming from outer space. So just know they're not coming from up there. There's a firmament. They're showing you on the daily, rockets bouncing off of it like water. They're showing you on the daily. They're not coming from up there. They're coming from out there.
So I've recently come across information from someone inside the military that as early as 1992, they were able to attain the ability to do holography or holograms with acoustic holograms, electromagnetic manipulation, just utilizing light, as you know, for very realistic holograms in any size or proportion that you can imagine with the entire spectrum of dimensions. So I would just encourage anyone that does begin to see this activity in the sky to always keep in mind that it could be simple hologram technology used to manipulate you emotionally to get you to be in a state of fear. Of course, we've been warning people about that for over 7-8 years, that Bluebeam was given to us as a warning via the Secretary of Von Braun that will be their last card.
He would repeat to me over and over, and the last card, the last card, the last card would be the extraterrestrial threat. Well, at the time, I kind of laughed when he said asteroids, and when he said extraterrestrials, I knew I wasn't going to deal with that subject. And now we hear on the news just today, this week, that they've slid in another enemy. Only this time we're going to protect our satellites. In other words, we have to have some reason to spend these trillions, to waste these dollars on a space-based weapon system, and they're all lies. A lie. A spin. And Wernher von Braun was trying to hint that to me back in the early 70s and right up until the moment when he died in 1977. What he told me is that there's an accelerated effort in place. He didn't mention a timeline, but he said that it was going to be speeding up faster than anybody could possibly imagine, and that the last card that was being held was the extraterrestrial enemy card. The intensity with which he said that made me realize that he knew something that he was too afraid to mention. He was too afraid to talk about it. He would not tell me the details. I'm not sure that I would have absorbed them if he had told me the details or even believed him in 1974. But there was no question that that man knew and had a need to know, I found out. The look in his eyes made it clear to me that he knew that there was something going on that was a big secret that he could not divulge.
That'll probably be their last card. I think that's where they're heading. They've got the technology, they've got amazing advanced stuff which they've held from us, the elite families, for millennia.
And also, there's patents for this, guys. There's patents, old documents, patents, U.S. government, Russia government, German government, everyone. They have patents, documents from dating back to the early 1900s of building these machines by hand. Why are they building these machines? For what? What is the whole plan? If these are some special things coming from above, then why does man have to build them here to scare you with them? Why does man have to create blue beam technology to, coming soon, scare you with this stuff? Because none of it's coming from above you. None of it is random, okay? It's either coming from the outer lands, under the ocean, or they're man-made, or blue beam, or all the combination of what I just said. But there's nothing coming from above your head, so please stop. Stop holding on to your alien bullshit. Let your ball go.
My name is Joseph Spencer. I was known as a man in black. Following 7 years acting as a counterintelligence agent for the CIA, I was recruited for a new assignment that entailed working within above top secret operations. I was aware of the black budget projects, but never knew the context of them due to their high level of secrecy. Even the president was denied access to their inner workings. Annually, billions of dollars are poured into black projects, which operate without any supervision or intrusion. They have full autonomy. The operations deal primarily with advancing military technologies, most of which have been reverse engineered from recovered alien spacecrafts that had either crashed or were shot down by our military. The public, sadly, will never, ever have knowledge of these operations. Since the early 1950s, scientists have been developing holographic technology, and over the years improved it to a state that we can only imagine. As I stood there staring at the bomber, which looked so absolutely real and solid that I could reach up and touch it, I contemplated the possibilities. What if this projection was 1,000 feet up in the sky? How would anyone know that that was an illusion? The Phoenix Lights craft, witnessed by 10,000 people, was the first grand-scale skybeam test upon the public. It succeeded beyond expectations. In October 1938, Orson Welles unleashed his War of the Worlds radio broadcast to the American public. It was so realistically portrayed, vast portions of the population went into panic. Terrified citizens scrambled to evacuate their cities in droves. America had been easily tricked by very simple means. In the year 2024, the world will stand witness to a massive alien invasion. Thousands of projected holographic alien warships will blanket the skies, sending people into a panic. Real military crafts within the holograms will inflict actual damage to the surrounding areas to sell the gimmick. And as a result of the ensuing human chaos, a one-world government will immediately form without any resistance from the people. They will be the new world order. Once this happens, we as a people will be doomed to enslavement and accelerated depopulation. With that said, the only hope for human salvation is to acquire and spread the knowledge of these activities and agendas. Resist, retaliate, then conquer this imposing enemy. The time is now.
The time is now. The time is now.
Why would rich, powerful people want you to not know the Creator, God? Because a man of God cannot be controlled.